I'll give you the injury report. We'll start with Matthew Perino. Just got word, so our thoughts and prayers are with you, Matt. Now we'll get serious. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably a better question for you guys and how tough he is. That's you would know better than I would. He's out. All right, so moving on. So DQ and Josh Palmer and then Taylor Rapp will not practice today. The first two are week to week. And then at this point, I don't know on Taylor if that's a day-to-day or week-to-week type of situation. We are still gathering information on that.
What is it?
Knee, yeah. And he's been dealing with it since training camp there. So limited, in the limited category, Milano, Kincaid, Curtis Samuel, Terrell Bernard. And then Max Hairston will practice today. So with that, I'll take your questions.
With the infusion, and we've been talking about this infusion, it's now here. What's that vibe like of three defensive pieces now potentially, and not necessarily knowing where or what's going to happen, but just the fact that it's here and you're on the cusp of getting these guys on the field?
Who are you referring to?
You're
Just so I know specifically.
Hoecht, Ogunjobi.
Yeah, no, it's good to have all three of those guys. Will get their first real practice today. So again, managing expectations. Let's get them integrated and get them rolling here. There's certainly a conditioning piece. There's a physical piece to it as well, and then there's a schematic piece to it also. So just trying to manage expectations and just take it one step at a time right now, one day at a time.
You mentioned that Dorian Strong was going to see a specialist. Is there an update there after that?
No update at this point. I'm still combing through that, the research and whatnot that goes into his situation there.
With Max specifically opening his window when you did, what went into that decision, and where do you feel like he is going into practicing today?
Yeah, again, I don't really know until we're able to watch here today and see him compete, bless you, and like I said, get into a sweat, get into some of the scheme as well, and again, just one day at a time, I think is the right approach right now.
Hey, Sean, this team, very good running team, and unlike some of the others like Henry, Bijan Robinson, we've got two guys that can do it. How difficult is a challenge for a defense knowing that they can roll two guys in and out against you?
Yeah, I think the ability to have two guys is certainly powerful and dangerous. There's very few in the league who have two. I think overall it's they bring a lot to the table in terms of what they do at the line of scrimmage and the tackles they break, and I mean the numbers speak for themselves.
How do you feel?
The self-evaluation, self-scouting worked over the bye week to prepare you going into this next stretch.
Yeah, it gives us some clarity on where we're at and where we need to move forward and how we can grow. I think that's the biggest thing, and we can kind of slow down and look at things and assess where you're at positively and some areas that we need to work on as well.
Is the sputters on offense, how self-correctable are they? And what do you pinpoint them to, especially the last two games? Especially the turnovers and just the lack of finish.
I would say that overall we're very capable of performing at a higher level, and like anything else, offensively, defensively, or special teams, it's the detail and the discipline that leads to execution, and we just haven't been there consistently enough over the last three games in particular.
Sean, at this point in the season, where are you with the identity of this team? Because we're pretty far into it now. Is that something you guys talked about over the break as well?
I think I know it's establishing who we are as a team, and that continues to unfold week after week. And I don't really know that we're there yet, and that's okay. But we got to keep pushing. We got to stay urgent with our approach, the discipline, the detail that I mentioned earlier. It's really establishing who we're trying to become as a football team, and you just take it 1 week at a time. You know, guys have been in and out of the lineup too, which affects some of that. Having said that, it's again taking steps every week to grow as a football team.
The last 6 years in the playoffs, you've had a 2-game losing streak in every year. It's never gone to 3. What do you guys do that prevent you from going on one of those season-crushing parts of the season?
Yeah. Again, you take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time. That's how the league is. And you get too far ahead of yourself, or you look too much in the past, you lose focus on where you're at. And right now, it's how can we win today and have a good practice. And you know, I've said that before, but I say it in total, you know, honesty and seriousness of if you got to focus on today and what we got to get done today to move us forward as a football team. So it's integrating some of these new guys who are coming back into what we do and seeing how they look, and then reassessing where we're at with the injuries, with scheme, with execution, game plan, and it's that whole process. So that's been our approach in the past, and you know, we take them 1 game at a time.
Okay, so go ahead. I'll ask. Michael Hoecht, Larry Ogunjobi, they're both coming back. Are they going to be full participants today and just kind of immerse right into practice?
They'll be full participants today. We are trying to, you know, manage some of it just based on them having not been out there. So.
Sean, you said during the bye week, self-scouting gives you an opportunity to assess the areas where you need growth. Can you tell us, in general, what are the areas that you think is the most opportunity for growth for this team?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of areas. I'm not going to get into because it's strategy based. So, again, you just look at you know, the identity of our football team. Have we established ourselves and who we are? You know, as a head coach, that's where you start, right? And then you go from there into what happens on the grass, what we look like, execution, detail, schematics, how we're using certain personnel. Are we using, you know, the right personnel, or should we be moving over here a little bit with using some other personnel? So it's, I mean, you name it, we look at it. So that's our job, and we owe that to our team. We owe that to the fans.
Sean, when you mentioned that, the one thing that you've done the last few games was penalties. I think it was 30 over the last 3 games. Was there somewhat of a theme or something you saw, or is it different things that when you look back at what happened that need to be corrected?
You know, most of those were what I would say where it becomes an issue or a hot spot is some of the holding penalties and then some of the line of scrimmage penalties. So the line of scrimmage penalties are 100% within our control, and that's those are non-negotiable. And then the holding penalties are, again, technique in this case and controlling what we can control. Get yourself in good position, move your feet, establish position, maintain position, and then you get to a certain position where you're losing the leverage, then you got to let go. And you know, that's been addressed. It's been looked at. The spotlight has been shined on that area in particular, and we have to be better because it's impacting offensive drives. It's impacting defensive drives as well, and so it's hard to win when you're actually hurting yourself without the offense or the opponent even doing anything. So.
For the Falcons, you guys elevated Jordan Poyer because of injuries to safety, and obviously he ended up getting in the game, and now you're bringing up some other safety injuries. What did you see from Jordan in the second half of that game when he was out there? And I guess where is the trust level with somebody who obviously knows this defense very, very well from all of his time here?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan wouldn't be back if we didn't have a lot of confidence and trust in him. But we still take it 1 day at a time. We'll see where it goes with T-Rap's situation, and we have other safeties as well that have been working as well, and we feel confident in as well. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to step on you there. When you're talking about these topics like identity and self-evaluation and growth, what are some position groups or things that you find yourself showing your team in meetings of reminders of this is how we do it, this is what we do? Are there any recurring things?
In a positive way, you mean? Or yeah, we do that from time to time. You know, different team meetings will do that, or even with the staff we'll do that. Say this is what we're looking for. This is the standard right here. You have to continually do that so guys understand, especially the new players, veterans, and and young players who are new to us, hey, this is how we do it. So sometimes you have to go back and reestablish the standard. You want to do that on the forefront of everything and paint the picture for everyone, both on and off the field, of what the standard is. That's important. And then sometimes you got to go back and do it again. And whether it's the standard or it's reteaching fundamentals and techniques as well.
Do you find yourself highlighting certain groups repeatedly, or are there people that are really doing it well?
Oh, there are. Listen, there's a lot of positives to our team. You know, you guys are asking about a lot of the called the trouble areas, but you know, you have to assess both. And here's what we're doing well. Here's who's doing it well, player or position group, as you said. And then it's into, all right, where do we need to adjust? And there's course corrections through every season, as it was mentioned earlier. So those that can make those adjustments play better, perform better, and you go from there.
With Larry and Michael, is there an expectation that they should be available to play this Sunday?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
What is the challenge of not knowing maybe who's going to play quarterback for the Panthers this weekend?
Yeah. Well, they're both good quarterbacks, and I know they signed Mike White apparently as well. So, you know, we'll see where it goes.
You've had some nice stuff to say this season about Shaq Thompson. I'm sure this is a big week for him. What has stood out to you about the impact that he's made, whether it be on the field or even in the locker room as well?
Yeah, winner. You know, he's here for a reason, and you know, when we drafted him, you know, back years ago, you could tell right away the impact he made in our locker room, on our team, what type of person he was. You knew what type of player he was, but then what type of person he was. And, you know, I would say you could ask the locker room, but it didn't take long for other players to say to me, hey, he's got it. And, you know, part of it is that they can learn from watching a player like that, how he handles himself on the field, off the field as well.
I know you had a dropped interception in that Atlanta game, but overall as a defense, what do you want to see? What's led to, I guess, causing fewer turnovers, not being the takeaways that you guys have been so successful getting over the last handful of years?
Yeah, you know, just overall, people staying on schedule. The style of offense is that we've faced has changed a little bit as well, where people aren't exposing the ball as much. So, you know, give credit to some extent to some of the offenses we've played, but then there's also pieces that we can handle better as well.
I know you still don't know how Taylor Rapp, but is injured reserve a possibility for Daquan or Joshua Palmer?
We'll see. Don't know yet. Yep.
With Max, how much of the mental side and catching up and learning the system with all the reps lost is part of his comeback now, as much as it's certainly physical with the knee?
I would say it's at least 50%, quite honestly. You know, just because he had, I don't know, what was it, a week in training camp roughly, give or take, maybe 10 days, somewhere thereabouts. And so it's, again, he's missed a lot of time, a lot of football, a lot of affirmation of, hey, yes, that's what they want, that's how it's supposed to look, I've got to do a better job, it's not quite where we need it to be. So it's a journey, and again, I think managing expectations, I know managing expectations is important for us and him as well.
John, how much easier is it to onboard Hoecht Ogunjobi when you've had 6 weeks to see how the rest of the D-line pieces fit together? Maybe you can focus a little more about where they can specifically help.
Easier to onboard the two players who have not been here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it makes it easier. I guess you know a little bit more what you have over here, and then so when you bring these two in, I mean, you hope through 6 games you have a pretty decent feel for where you're at any position. So yeah, I guess it makes it a little bit easier. We'll see. It's somewhat unique where you have 2 guys. Sometimes you have 1 in a 6-game suspension. In this case, we've got 2. So, but we're happy to have them back and get them signed up here, ready to go.
Do you feel you've got a better grasp of the team or a better feeling about the team after this 2-week break than when maybe you were entering it?
I would hope so. Yeah. I mean, no, I'm not being sarcastic. I would. Yeah. I mean, you know.
I guess that's the advantages of the perspective that you've gained.
Yeah. No. I mean, we had some time off last weekend, and my wife, I was kind of itching a little bit and fidgeting, and my wife's like, "Hey, you need to go in." I'm like, "Yeah, I need to go in," and she knows. I mean, she used to be a teacher, so she's like, when my classroom wasn't set, you feel that kind of uneasy feeling. Sure, you guys feel the same way when you don't feel great about things with great clarity, total clarity. I need to go in there and watch some film and just be by myself and just with my thoughts, you know. So it's powerful, right? And you come out of it with better clarity on where we're at and where we need to go.
Paulie J asked about Shaq going back, but for you this week, going back to Charlotte, you haven't gotten to coach that many games back there. What is it like for you? Is it meaningful at all? Do you look forward to it?
Yeah, a lot of great people, great organization that was very kind to me and helpful with my career. Coached around a lot of great coaches and staff, and great players also. So I learned so much from being there. It was a great time for our family, and obviously making the Super Bowl was a tremendous moment for us as well, an accomplishment. So learned a lot from being there, but I'm super happy here and being a part of this community as well. So.